Hello, random people. Welcome to Random Garage, the channel where we're always doing something. On this episode of Random Garage, we'll be installing some accessories on the Wildcat XX. Got some little accent lighting to light up the foot area of the cab for when it's dark out. Horn here to be street legal, and switch to control the horn. License plate light and license plate holder. This curved one, it's just an old Kuryakin one. It was chrome, just painted it with flat black Plastidip paint. The back of the Wildcat, let's go take a look. Well, the back area has kind of an angle to it here, so any type of a flat plate holder wouldn't quite work. But then this curved one, then there's kind of a gap in the center there. That's not so bad anyway, but it'll kind of sit flat at the edges, and I think that'll look pretty nice rather than doing something cheap like just taking the license plate and bending it around that curve and screwing it straight to that plastic panel there. And then the license plate light can just sit up above it here. I made myself a cheat sheet here off of the full wiring diagram for the machine. These are some of the accessory points that I'm going to utilize. This number 24 here is a 2-pin connector that you would typically use to run a trickle charger. That's in the rear underneath the tub. The red and white down there goes direct to battery positive. Same with these number 2. I believe these are up front somewhere, just these two blade connectors, but those again are straight to battery power. This here number 6, that seems to be a 6-pin rubber connector and a 2-pin, and then a couple of blade connectors, and those are keyed power only, and they go to a 30 amp relay and a 30 amp fuse. So I will tap off some of those for my interior accent lights and for the license plate light. Then we have this connector 7, 2-pin connector again, and your switch control where you plug your switch in. It's the base block. Number 7, it's somewhere inside the firewall, and that one is your most powerful one that includes the switch block anyway, because that's it goes to a 20 amp relay and 20 amp fuse, and they even label it as light bar, so that's the one that they designate if you have a big light bar on top, that you would use that one for your switch and your power. And then 8, 9, and 10 are all just identical. They go to 15 amp fuse, which goes to a 30 amp accessory relay. All 3 of those go to separate fuses, but then all those fuses are just connected to the one 30 amp relay. So one of these is what I'll be using to connect the horn to. And then in the future, if there's other items that I want to have on a separate switch or something, I'll have still the 215 amps available, and of course the 20 amp for light bar or whatever. Pretty sure for one of these 15 amp things, I want to get they make a plug-in that goes in the switch slot and plugs into there, and then it's got a couple of USB ports and a little voltmeter on it for convenience. So I think that'd be nice to have. So take this hood off here, turn those things, put that up, get that out the way. So now down in here, behind the firewall there's this bundle of connectors that are all taped up, and I see they even have plastic labels on them that coincide with the labeling that was on the wiring diagram. Plus, over in there, let's see if I get the light on it, and down there's another wrapped up plastic connector with a label on it. So that would be the other one. That's probably one of the 15 amp. I'll have to reach in there and see what that label says. Okay, that one in there By the steering column says accessory switch C. So that's the one, the 20 amp that's designated for the light bar. And then here in the cab would be the knockout where you would put that switch then. Seems to me I would rather put a winch switch right there, and a light bar itself could be over here in the center console in one of those many knockouts. So right here now, the easiest one to reach is this, and the switch block for it is labeled accessory switch B1, and here's the 2-pin plug that would plug into it. So my horn control switch will plug in the block here, and I'll plug my horn into that 2-prong connector. And as long as we're in here, what else we got? Here's this one says accessory switch B3, and this one down here must be B2, accessory switch B2. This labeling is really nice if you've got the diagram. And then there's the 6-prong connector for accessory switched A, which went to that 30 amp relay. I wonder where the rest of those connectors are now. There's the 6er. I don't see anything else down in here. Okay, now I'm finding things. So that rubber 6 connector plug is here. That's this one. That's on that 30 amp keyed power only. This one here, glove box accessory. So that's keyed power. That is plugged in here. And that is the cigarette lighter plug in the glove box. And then this connector 2, that's full-time key power, is connected to that other cigarette lighter plug that is just in the center console there in the dash panel. So that's got power all the time. And then I know I've seen this one on the rear, and that's full-time battery power. And this one is labeled for rear, and that's keyed power. So let's go in the back and try and find that one. Just take this rear tub out so it's easier to find everything. It's going to come out anyway to run the wires to the rear for the license plate light, but there's quick release. These spin and screw things that hold it down. The 4 of those, just pull those out, and then just lift the tub right out. All right, now with the tub out over here on the right side, this is the 2-prong connector with the red and white wire. So that one is full-time battery power. And somewhere else around here should be an identical one with the orange and black wire. So that would be key on power only. Well, I've been all over this thing now, all over following the wire harness, and I cannot find that other 2-prong plug that should be just keyed power labeled rear. So I'm thinking maybe it is behind this panel between the seats. So we'll take that out and take a look. So this thing just has this one connector there. Pull that out. Lift up. They're out of there. Up. Look at that. I did not notice when I was in the firewall. I found that one 2-prong connector for B1 next to its switch base, but I didn't really notice the connectors for B2 and B3. That's because they're right here. And then here is the other one, switched accessory that I've been looking for. Okay, so this one, since it's already halfway there, I'll take this one to run the license plate light, and if I add extra accessories off of B2 and B3 in the future, I don't know. I'll either make them be like cab accessories that need these, or else I'll just have to run longer wires off of these, but that's good to know. Now I found everything. And of course, here's the fuse boxes. Here's the battery. Behind the battery is the starter solenoid. And here in the wheel well was the voltage regulator. Also, taking out the tub is the easy way to check the oil because, you know, here's the dipstick right here. You could also not take the tub out and try and reach up there and get it. But those 4 quick release things that hold the tub down, and just take the tub out, check the oil that way. So first I'll put the horn in, and I think it's going to be easier to grab everything if you just pull out this panel here, because then all the wires are right behind there. So it looks like probably a T27 Torx tool gets those 4 screws out, and then I'll be putting the switch for it right there, I guess. Or I'll, yeah, that's fine, horn switch right there. For a second there I was considering moving the 4-wheel drive switch over and put the horn closer to the steering wheel, but probably never going to use the horn anyway. It's just there for just to be street legal. Just popped open the glove box. I forgot that because of course now this is the full-time battery power like cigarette plug, and they got another knockout here if you wanted to add put your switch there. Maybe when I do the USB plugs, put them in that panel in the glove box, and just have the phone sitting in the glove box. Or that would probably only make sense if you're going to leave it in there while you're away from the rig here. Yeah, forget it. Well, that was disappointing. Get the screws out, take this panel off, and there's a whole panel behind there. Doesn't make any sense. So if you want to put in more accessories, say you want to add a navigation or a little stereo controller panel or something, you gotta cut through that, and you gotta cut through this. Honestly. Okay, very quickly decided to do this with the easy way. Took a big hole saw and cut 4 holes. Now I'll take the Sawzall and just cut across to open that up. Next, just reach right under, get the wires, and then just be sealing it back up with that block-off plate. Well, that was pretty easy. Sawzall cut fast. Then of course the panel falls in and goes somewhere down there in the belly pan. So that's real fucking good. Alright, I was able to reach down in there and find it pretty quickly. Just pull it right out. So now again, here's the bundle of connectors. Here's accessory switch B1, where I'll plug the horn into here and pull this bag off, plug the switch into there, cut that tie wrap loose, and we're gonna go into that slot right there with the horn. Okay, so there's my switch base, and you can see that there's a blade connector right there, there, and there. And so here's my horn button. So obviously it's gonna plug in right like that, but these things actually have to push in, you know, from the front side here. Get in there. There it is. And then we just connect this on the back side. So I couldn't get it to connect, so I had to pull it back out, and I look and notice that this post here, this plastic post, is larger than that little slot right there. So it's gonna have to nip that right off, then it'll connect. So here's the 2-prong pigtail that will the horn will connect to plug into the 2-prong connector. Thought I had more of these, but I'm gonna pick up another one to plug in the license plate light, and also get a 6-way connector to plug into that 6-way connector, but then just use 2 of the wires on it initially, or I should 1 set of wires I should say, to connect to my 2 interior accent lights that I have so far. First we should probably test this thing, so I just got the wires just kind of through the holes in the spade connector dingers on the horn. Okay, I got the horn pigtail plugged into the harness pigtail. Wires hanging there. Let's give it a little test. Turn that on. Is this thing supposed to light up? Oh, that works well. What in tarnation? Well, that's nice. It's almost like a batteries not included situation. Pull off the cover on the fuse panel here, and there isn't any 15 amp fuse in for B1, B2, B3, or for accessory C, which is the 20 amp for light bar. So what the heck? Okay, so now I added a 15 amp fuse there to B1. I also put a spare in the little fuse holder foam thing underneath the cover, and we'll try this again. Okay. Now the horn button lights up. Whoa, yeah. I guess, like it says, 105 decibels at 12 volts. So now I'll figure out exactly where I want to mount my horn. Somewhere under the hood here. And then I'll build a wiring harness to reach from there to the plug in there by the firewall. Maybe I'll put it right in the nose here because there's this plastic panel here that's pretty easy to get at. If I'm going to drill a hole, I can easily get at both sides to screw in a nut in there. The horn sit right there, and then the sound would come right out the front. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to go. Okay, got some holes drilled right there, just because it was easy to get the drill down this hole, and can easily reach top and bottom side to put some bolts through there. And then because I'm sitting this thing flat on a surface, I had to bend these prongs out a little bit because when they were right at a 90-degree angle, I guess it's easier to see here, then the connectors, blade connectors, are going to go right down in the plastic. That wasn't going to work unless I drilled a hole for that too. So sitting there, and then wires will come out here, and I can just like tie wrap them to this frame rail and somewhere along up under the fender here, back and over and down to the connector over there. Okay, now that's mounted. Now time to build the little wire harness. Okay, there. Got a nice little wire harness built here, so I'll just install that into the machine now. There's that. Ran up there just under the fender for a second, over the radiator, and down into there. Okay, so next is the license plate light. I stopped at the store. They didn't have like a 2-wire pigtail, but they had this thing, which is even better. I'll just cut that in half, and then I'll have a pigtail connector to use, one for the license plate light and one for those interior LEDs. So the license plate light is LED, so directional then. You have to hook up the positive to the correct wire. I assume then that the gray here is the positive and the black is the negative. So we'll just twist the wires together, plug it in, make sure I've got it working correctly before I actually build a harness and have a bunch of solid connections. Okay, so we got the wires twisted up here and plugged into the switched accessory 2-prong connector. Stay there. Stay. Turn on the switch. Key. Woo, bright. Okay, that's it. Okay, so here's my little pigtail setup for the license plate light. I like to use a lot of connectors in case components go bad and they need to be removed, or if they need to be removed to like take things apart. I suppose some people would prefer to run this thing as like solid connections all the way from the light to the 2-prong connector in the cab there between the seats, but you know, which may be more robust because of fewer connections, but this is just the way I like to do it for ease of maintenance. Now this license plate light, I'm just gonna kind of stick up here, something, probably have a little angle to it so it kind of goes towards the center of the plate. But on this side here now we got a little insulation there, but I can just kind of push that down. Yeah, I should be able to get that right up there at the top nice and neatly. Okay, there, now I got the 2 mounting holes drilled and the center hole for the wires to pass through. teeny little nuts on there are 7/32 size, but that deep socket will take care of that without too much trouble, I hope. Oh my god, why are those so stiff? Jeez, what? Oh, I hope it's not pulling the stud out. What the heck? So yeah, the stud was spinning in the plastic. I had to hold the tip of it with a needle nose and use a tiny little 7/32 wrench to get the nut to start coming loose. So now we're okay. At least I'm glad I didn't totally strip it out so the stud pulled out of the plastic. That would suck. Okay, so got that mounted now, and wires then. Now I just have to make another harness to get from here up to between the seats there, and I think I'll run it along this other harness that's here. Probably just follow that down because it goes kind of towards the middle, and then inside towards between the seats. Okay, there's my wire harness to go from between the seats to the license plate light, so install that quick and I'll tie wrap it all in place. Okay, got that all installed now. Now there's no real sense in installing this plate holder until I get my license plate course, but I think anyway I'll at least just mark the holes where it's gonna go. Okay, so here's my little adapter harness for the interior accent lighting. I made it capable of plugging in 4 lights now because I bought the 2, and I had one of them just temporarily wired in and turned the lights off, trying to decide where to put it in, like the footwell of each side, and then quickly decided that I also want one in the glove box and one in the cubby hole in the center in front of the shifter where you'd you know, put your cell phone or whatever. So I'm gonna get 2 more, but I'm already prepped then so I can have 4 lights connected. So, but I'll just go connect up 2 of them right now. Okay, so I got these things, LED lights all prepped here with the wires. So then positives will just on each one go on there, and the negatives are gonna connect, say, there. And then when I get another set of LED lights, hook into there and right onto there for expansion. So now I just got to drill a hole in my mounting location in the footwells for the wires to pass through. Mount these with plastic self-tapping screws and plug them in, and that should be about it. Okay, got that light mounted up in there. Just gotta do the other side. Plug them in. Okay, and got the LEDs all plugged into my little adapter harness there. Going to put some tape on the positive connection so they don't ground out on anything. Hook the connector up to one of the slots on the 3-slot connector, and trim up this crap. Put that plate back on, and that'll be it. If you want to see more random garage things, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get a random notification when a new random garage video is posted. If you're in the Sturgis area and you need any work done, come see me at Exit 32 Fit Shop. Links are in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, and remember, whatever you do, make sure you're always doing something.